Jupiter Media presents
Destination Canada, promoting Canadian education and development of Nepalese diaspora in Canada.
Hello and namaste. Welcome to Destination Canada television show. We are continuously telecasting the fresh episodes about study opportunities in Canada, challenges and the opportunities inside Canadian market. So now international students are choosing Canada with highly preference. As per students and the agent's choice, Global University Services GUS is providing a huge informative session and higher education summit here in Kathmandu. And at the same time, we are talking with the GUS representative to update you about the study opportunities in Canada. So to provide you the fresh information about GUS services, latest changes rules, and the study opportunities in Canada, we have very special guest from Global University System who is none other than Kayla Briel. She is looking after Chief Innovative and Recruitment Officer at GUS. Let's welcome her to the show. Kayla, you're welcome on our show.
Thank you so much. First of all, I am Canadian, and I'm also an international student myself. So I think that what you are doing in highlighting Canada as an amazing destination for higher education is so important in Nepal, where we actually find some of our top quality students for our GUS Canada institutions.
This is the educational television show where we are sharing the study opportunities inside Nepal and beyond the country. In this case, would you please share some of your experience as international students in the past?
Absolutely. So I did my undergraduate degree in the United States, and then I went to work for several years, and then I determined that I needed more skills to be able to advance in my career, actually here with GUS. And so what I decided to do was take an MBA abroad, and I did my MBA in the United Kingdom, and now I live and work there. So just like many international students, I was able to study and then work and stay and find not only great skills and great opportunities where I went, but I was also given the ability through the counseling that I received to take advantage of those opportunities. And that's why we love to work with agents, especially in Nepal, because they are trusted guidance counselors for these students. I can't be in every room, unfortunately. I've tried. And it's very hard.
Let's have a talk about Global University System costs.
The costs, yes. So Canada actually just recently revised its cost of living assessment for international students, really to update it, because it had been 10 years since they last issued a cost of living assessment. And so they raised it to about $20,000. And that actually reflects what it's like to live in Canada and to work there and to go to school there, because before it was not a fair representation to students about what they're going to experience when they come there. So that's a huge part of what we do at GUS as well, is we equip our students and our agents with the information that they need to be able to not just apply and get into the institution, but to be successful there. And that's why we see that 98% of our Nepalese students finish the program that they start.
To provide the education business on long run, what sort of the structure is following by Global University System?
I think that what you've said is so correct, and people need to understand that when you call it the education business, that's one of the beauties of working with private institutions. Public institutions do many things very well, but they lack funding. A lot of the time they lack a really creative vision, and they lack the skills training that we get from private institutions. So that's where we have chosen to invest, is that it's not important to have theoretical and technical learning, but what's most important and what science tells us about how people learn is that applying those skills is what actually makes it stick. And so we have invested in all of our GUS Canada universities and colleges in either real life labs to do the thing that you're studying. So if you're studying IT or if you're studying personal support work, I actually scared myself the other day. I went to the Fleming College Toronto campus, didn't realize we had put in a new lab, bunch of dummies laying down. I was panicked. So you actually get your real hands-on experience, and you get investment from a private institution to be able to achieve the kinds of things that students need to, not just in the classroom, but actually when they go to work.
There are lots of options for the agents. So how it will be easy to work with Global University System for Nepalese agents?
So for our agencies, we really are very selective with the agencies that we work for. So we have 10,000 agencies in our books, and we choose to work with 5,000 of them. So we are looking at both performance, not just of the agency, but also of their students when they come to school, to understand who do we continue to invest in and build partnerships for. And the great thing about partnering with a GUS Canada versus another institution is that GUS Canada offers an enormous number of partnerships and pathways across Canada. So what you have available to you as an agent is the opportunity to expand the number and the market of students that you can address with your offering, because you have a huge number of options spanning both different locations in Canada, different levels of study, and different programs. And all of those programs are designed for the future of work. So our students are finding not just that they're getting educated and not just that they're getting real-life Canadian work experience like with our co-op programs, but that they're able to take that learning back home to Nepal or to stay longer in Canada to invest in building their communities.
Let's have a talk in the prospect of individual students, how it will be easy to choose the GUS-related college and university in Canada.
Our students have an enormous number of benefits that are obvious when you look at the outcomes. So we invest in student support at a very high level. We invest in legal services for students, accommodation support, all the kinds of things that they need to be prepared to come and thrive in Canada. And so one project that I worked on myself last year was that I wrote a series of 20 emails for every single student that will come through one of our partners to come to one of our Canada schools, laying out exactly what they need to do in advance to be ready when they land in Canada. Because for a lot of these students, it's not just about going to school. It's the first time that they'll be taking care of their own finances, first time maybe that they're living alone, and definitely maybe the first time that they're living alone in a foreign country. So all of these things are essential outside the classroom to make sure that you are effective inside the classroom. And that's the area where we focus on ensuring that our applicants are comfortable, they're confident, and they have mental health and student service support so that they can thrive in their programs.
Canadian government is making rules and regulation to manage the international students' environment there in Canada. So how do you analyze the step of Canadian government?
So the announcements from the Canadian government, from IRCC, about the changes related to international students are essential. These changes are actually something that is designed to protect the international student experience in Canada. Because in Canada, what we find is that there are a large number of institutions that are not operating to the same quality standards that we do at GUS. And so students are finding that the promises that they were made by their agents and by their institutions are not met when they're arriving in Canada. So we at GUS Canada are very confident in these new measures because, first of all, they will largely not affect us. And second of all, it will help clear our industry of people who look at students like profit centers, which is unacceptable. And so for us, we're very excited to see that the Canadian government is actually quite interested in supporting master's and doctoral programs. They're clearly looking to prioritize those as part of Canada's growth. And we have a large suite of programs, including established and new programs coming, designed exactly for that market of students. But we also have lots of students who come to Canada and study these lower programs who might be affected by a cap, who might need to include a letter of attestation, who might not be able to bring their spouses with them to start with. But those programs, even in GUS Canada, offer pathways to institutions where you can. And so you can start your educational experience with us at GUS, also usually for a lower cost than having to jump right into a master's program, and you can still gain the benefits of that master's program at a later point in your studies because you've started with one of our pathway partners and then you end perhaps with one of our universities. So we're quite confident that what this will do is actually demonstrate how certain institutions, for example, like our GUS Canada schools, have for years prioritized pathways and partnerships, whereas we'll see a lot of schools scrambling right now to start new ones because of these new announcements.
Okay, what are the purposes of organizing this higher education summit here in Kathmandu?
Today's event is designed around ensuring that our counselors have all of the tools and the resources and skills that they need to properly advise Nepalese students who entrust them with their higher education journey. And so what we've done today is we have brought our senior leadership, we've brought all of our business development team, and we are personally engaging with our partners, first of all, because we care about what happens with our partners in Nepal. They bring us some of our best quality students. And so when we look at it again as an education business, my best investments are in Nepal because these are my students who finish their programs, they go on to further study, or they find jobs. And so these students are very important to us because they're also helping us to fill skills gaps in Canada and in the world. And so when we work closely with our partners like we've done today, what we're able to do is help them take advantage of the opportunities that these job gaps have instead of having the whole world suffer from the fact that we have aging populations, not enough doctors. So what we're doing here in Nepal and what our partners are doing here today is that we're getting together to solve global problems. And it's really powerful.
Kayla, finally, what's your message to the prospective Nepalese students and parents, those who are watching this show regarding Canadian education?
First of all, that Canada is the top international study destination for a reason. It is the second most multicultural country in the world. So students find that they are accepted and that they thrive in these communities. But also my biggest message to Nepalese students and parents and agents and everyone is sometimes people think that starting a 4-year program or moving on to a master's or changing their life in this way seems hard. The time is going to pass regardless. The next 2 years or 4 years will go by either way, whether you choose to invest in yourself or not. So don't wait, is my biggest advice to them. Don't wait to feel like the better time is coming. Now is your time because you're going to just be 4 years older without the skills anyway, or 2 years past where you were today and wishing you had done it. So don't let this be one of the things that passes you by.
Thank you so much for your valuable time and thoughts.
Thank you.
Destination Canada, promoting Canadian education and development of Nepalese diaspora in Canada.